The night was quiet. The forest was sleeping under a dark sky full of stars. But then, suddenly, a loud sound broke the silence. Boom! A bright light shot across the sky and crashed into the forest with a heavy blast. Trees shook. Birds flew away. The ground trembled. Jack, a human explorer, sat up quickly in his small wooden cabin. He was alone, as always. He grabbed his flashlight and his rifle. His dog, Max, barked once, then stopped, ears flat. What the hell was that? Jack said to himself. He stepped outside. The wind smelled like fire and smoke. Jack saw something. Burning far away, near the edge of the forest. It looked like a ship, not a human ship. It was something strange. Alien. Jack didn't waste time. He put on his coat and walked into the woods, careful and quiet. After 10 minutes, he reached the crash site. The trees around the area were burned black. Smoke rose into the sky. In the center of the wreck was a silver pod round, dented and half buried in the ground. The metal looked smooth, but glowing hot. Jack kept his gun ready. He moved closer. Then something inside the pod moved. Hiss. A figure jumped out. It was fast. It tackled Jack and threw him to the ground. Jack groaned. His flashlight rolled away, and shadows danced on the trees. The figure was not human. It was a girl. But not like any girl he had seen before. Her skin was light purple. Her eyes glowed yellow. Sharp claws came out from her fingers. Her long hair floated as if it had no weight. She looked like a wild animal ready to kill. She placed a sharp claw on Jack's neck. Her other hand shook from pain. Jack saw her side. She was bleeding, a deep wound. He didn't move. Slowly he said, "I'm not your enemy. You're hurt." The alien girl looked confused. Her eyes narrowed. She didn't understand his words, but she saw his calm face. He wasn't scared. He wasn't fighting. She growled, but her body was weak. Jack whispered, "Let me help you." She didn't respond. Her eyes blinked slowly. Then, her body fell. She fainted from the pain and blood loss. Jack caught her before she hit the ground. Jack carried the alien girl back to his cabin. It was not easy. She was taller than him and heavy, but he managed. Inside, he laid her on the bed and covered her with a blanket. He used warm water to clean the wound and wrapped it with bandages. She slept for hours, her chest rising and falling slowly. Jack sat nearby, drinking hot tea. Max sat by the door, watching the alien girl. Carefully. "She's not safe," Jack said. "But she's alone, like me." The next morning, the alien girl woke up. She looked around, confused. She sat up fast and reached for her claws, but winced in pain. Her wound was still fresh. Jack stepped back and raised his hands. "It's okay, you're safe here." She didn't understand his words, but she watched his body language. Jack pointed to the soup on the table. "Food." She sniffed the air. She was hungry. She moved slowly, crawled to the table, and sniffed the soup. Then she looked at Jack as if asking permission. He nodded. She ate it fast like a starving wolf. She didn't use a spoon. Just her hands. Jack smiled a little. "Not very polite, huh?" She growled at him. Jack raised his hands again. Okay. Later that night, the girl walked around the cabin. She touched things like she had never seen them before. A lamp, a mirror, a book. Jack watched her carefully. Then she stood in front of a window. The moonlight touched her face. She looked sad. Jack stepped beside her. "You're far from home, aren't you?" She didn't answer, but her eyes softened. Then suddenly a sound outside. Max barked. Jack grabbed his rifle. The alien girl crouched low and hissed. Her claws came out. "Stay here," Jack said. He stepped outside. Something was moving in the forest. Not an animal. A red light blinked between the trees. Jack felt a chill. Someone's looking for her. He came back inside quickly. "We're not alone," he told her. The alien girl's eyes flashed with fear, but also something else. Anger. She knew what that light meant. They had found her, and they were coming. Asterisk. The alien girl woke up with a sharp breath. She sat up fast, her eyes wide and glowing. Her claws came out. Her breathing was heavy. She looked around, ready to fight. But there was no battle. No fire. No blood. Just a quiet wooden cabin. The smell was strange. Wood, smoke, and something warm. She blinked. Her side hurt. She pulled up the blanket and saw the bandage again. Her wound was closed now, cleaned and wrapped. Someone had helped her. Her eyes moved across the room. She saw a chair, a fire, a strange round clock, and a mirror. Everything looked so old and human. Her ears twitched. Footsteps. She turned quickly, claws ready. The human stood at the doorway. He had no weapon in his hands, only a cup of hot drink. He stopped when he saw her awake. "You're up," he said softly. "You were asleep for 2 days." She didn't understand the words, but his voice was calm, slow, not a threat. She stayed still, but her eyes followed him like a wild animal. He placed the cup on the table and sat on the floor. "Not too close, not too far. You attacked me. But I saved you anyway," he said, half smiling. "I guess that makes us even." She didn't answer. Her claws slowly pulled back, but she stayed tense. Her body ached. She wanted to run, to fly, to fight, but her strength was low. She was still. "Healing," the human pointed to the cup. "Tea." She looked at the cup, then back at him. She didn't move. So he took it, drank a sip, and said again, "Tea." He placed it back on the table and pushed it toward her. She reached out with slow hands, sniffed it, then took a sip. Warm, bitter, strange, but not bad. The human nodded. "Good." She looked at him, trying to understand. Why was he helping her? She had attacked him. She was not like him. Her kind had burned cities, taken planets, broken peace. And yet here she was, inside a human's home. And he had saved her. The night came fast. Outside, the wind howled. Leaves flew past the window. The girl stood by the fire, staring at the flames. She didn't sit. She didn't sleep. She just watched. The human cooked something on the stove. The smell made her stomach growl. He laughed softly. "You're hungry again. Good sign." He made 2 bowls of soup, gave her one. She took it this time without a growl. She ate slower now, still with her hands. No spoon. The human didn't mind. After dinner, he cleaned the table. She followed him with her eyes always alert. He pointed to himself. "Jack." She stared. He pointed again. "Jack," then pointed to her. She didn't speak, only blinked. "Don't want to tell me?" he said. "That's okay. We'll get there." That night, Jack lay down in his bed and turned off the light. The alien girl sat near the window, watching the sky, watching the stars. She missed her home. She missed her sister. Her home was gone now, and her sister ... dead. She closed her eyes for a moment. Her hands shook. Her claws dug into the wooden floor. A tear rolled down her cheek. Jack didn't see it. He was already asleep, but Max, the dog, was awake. He walked over to her and sat near her feet. She looked down at him, surprised. The animal didn't growl or bark, just sat there, calm and warm. She didn't push him away. For the first time in many nights, she didn't feel completely alone. But safety didn't last. At dawn, her ears twitched again. A sound. A soft beep. Far away, in the trees. Her eyes flashed. Tracker. They had found her. She stood quickly, waking Jack with her movement. "What's wrong?" he asked, eyes still full of sleep. She pointed outside, then ran to the door. "No, wait." Jack followed her, grabbing his coat and gun. In the forest, the morning fog was thick. But there, just between 2 trees, a red blinking light. Her old ship. It had sent a signal. Not to her. To them. Jack looked at her. Is someone coming? She nodded once. Fast. Who? She placed her fingers on her neck and made a slicing motion. Jack understood. Killers. Jack looked back at his cabin, then at her. They're hunting you. She didn't answer. He sighed. Well, I guess that means they'll be coming here. She stared at him, not knowing what he'd say next. But then he smiled, just a little. Let's make sure they regret it. And for the first time, she didn't growl at him. She nodded, not as a beast, but as someone who might trust. Just a little. Asterisk. The forest held its breath. A red light blinked again in the trees, slow and steady like a warning. Like a heartbeat. The alien girl crouched low on a branch above the cabin, eyes locked on the light. Her claws dug into the bark. Her nose picked up a strange smell, hot metal, smoke, and something bitter. Machines. They were close. She didn't know how many, but she could feel them. They moved like shadows. No sound, no voices. Hunters. Inside the cabin, Jack checked his old rifle. The bullets were few, but he knew how to use them. Max sat at the door, tail stiff, ears pointed toward the forest. Jack looked up at the alien girl through the window. She didn't blink. She was pure focus. She wasn't running this time. She was ready to fight. He walked outside and called up to her. They're here for you, aren't they? She didn't look down. Just gave a slow nod. Jack stared into the woods. Then they'll have to go through me. She finally looked at him. Her face didn't change, but something in her eyes did. She jumped down without a sound. Landed next to him. Together, they waited. Minutes passed. The sun rose higher. Then Jack saw movement in the trees. A man wearing black armor, half covered in a metal suit. A red visor covered his eyes. Behind him, two more shapes. One held a scanner. The scanner beeped fast. It pointed toward the cabin. The man raised his hand. Stop. They crouched low, weapons ready, silent. Jack whispered, They think we don't see them. The alien girl growled softly. Her fingers switched, ready to strike. Jack raised a hand. No, let them come closer. The trap was ready. Around the cabin, Jack had placed old mines from his army days. Small, hidden, but loud, the hunters moved closer. One of them stepped near the garden. Click. Boom. Smoke filled the air. One hunter was thrown into a tree. The other two rolled away fast, firing energy shots toward the cabin. Jack ducked behind the barrel. Max barked wildly. The alien girl jumped into the air and landed behind one of the hunters. Her claws tore through his armor before he could turn. The last hunter saw her and shouted in his own language. His gun glowed blue, aimed at her. Jack didn't think. He fired one shot. The hunter dropped, his weapon sparking in the dirt. Silence. Only the wind spoke now. The girl stood over the fallen bodies, chest rising and falling. Blood, not hers, dripped from her claws. Jack stepped forward, breathing hard. You okay? He asked. She looked at him. Not fierce, not soft. Just tired. She nodded. Jack kicked one of the helmets off a body. Mercenaries. Real high grade. The girl stared at the bodies. Her face didn't change, but her fists clenched. They won't stop, she said. Her voice was low, rough, but clear. Her first full sentence. Jack's eyes widened. You can talk? She nodded. Learned. Watching. Listening. Jack laughed in disbelief. That's amazing. She didn't smile. They want me dead. Why? I ran away. She said, from war, from orders. I was a weapon. I stopped being one. Jack looked down at the dead soldiers. They don't like that, huh? No. Jack looked at her, at the blood on her hands, the sadness in her eyes, and the way she still stood tall like a fighter, even when she wanted peace. You're not a weapon anymore, he said. She blinked. Then what am I? He smiled, alive and free. She didn't answer, but her eyes grew softer. Just for a second. Then Max barked again, loud and sharp. They both turned. New light in the sky. Blue. Bright. A ship. Bigger. Faster. Coming straight for them. Jack whispered. Reinforcements. The alien girl's claws came out again. But her hands shook. She was still healing. Jack touched her shoulder. We need to move. She pulled away, shaking her head. They'll follow. I bring danger. Then we run smarter, Jack said. We hide, we plan, we fight only if we must. She looked at him, confused. You saved me, she said. Now it's my turn, he replied. Let's go. They grabbed what they could: food, water, maps. The girl gave one last look at the cabin. It had been her first quiet place, but quiet never lasts. They disappeared into the forest, just before the sky exploded with fire again. Hunt wasn't over. It had only just begun. The cave was cold and dark. Rain fell outside like the sky was crying. The wind howled through the mountain cracks like a warning. Don't rest. Don't trust. Don't breathe easy. But Jack and the alien girl had no choice. They had been running for 2 days. No food. No fire. No safe place until now. She sat on one side of the cave, arms wrapped around her knees, shaking slightly. Jack sat on the other side, holding a tiny flame in a tin cup. Max lay between them, tail still, eyes half closed, always alert. Neither of them spoke. Their eyes met once. Then looked away. The silence between them wasn't empty. It was full of pain. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Then, slowly, she reached into the small leather bag tied to her belt. Her fingers touched a stone, smooth, blue, and glowing softly. Jack noticed. What's that? She didn't answer. Instead, she stood and walked over to him, quiet, careful. She knelt in front of him, face serious. Jack's hand moved toward his rifle. Unsure. She shook her head. No weapon, she said. No fear. He let go of the rifle. She held the glowing stone close to his chest. It's called a soul key, she whispered. Memory stone. Truth stone. If I use it, you'll see what I've seen. Feel what I've felt. Jack raised an eyebrow. That's intense. You saved me, she said. I want you to understand why I ran. Jack didn't move. Then slowly he nodded. Okay, he said. Show me. She touched the stone to his forehead. The world changed. Jack blinked and suddenly, he wasn't in the cave anymore. He stood on a battlefield. Flames, screams, explosions, tall black towers falling in the distance. Alien warships in the sky. Giant machines marching through crushed cities. People running, dying. And there she was, his alien friend, but not soft. Not quiet. She was wearing armor, holding a blade made of pure energy. She screamed orders in her language. Her face was cold, empty. She was a killer. She cut down enemies without blinking. Jack felt it, the power, the pain, the anger. The orders shouted into her mind through a control chip. A feeling of being owned, used. And then, he felt something snap. She broke the chip. She screamed and dropped her weapon. Others turned on her, her own people. They attacked her. She barely escaped, bleeding, hunted, afraid. Until the crash, the memory ended. Jack gasped. Back in the cave, he opened his eyes. The stone was dark now, cold. She looked at him with tired eyes. I was made to fight, she said. But I don't want to anymore. Jack didn't speak right away. He looked at her, not as an alien, not as a weapon, but as someone broken, trying to heal. I understand now, he said softly. She blinked, surprised. You weren't bad, he said. You were controlled. But you broke free. That takes strength. Her lips moved slightly. Almost a smile. Almost. Then her fingers brushed against his temple again. Another flash. This time, his memories. She saw Jack as a young soldier. A battlefield on Earth. A bomb. Fire. Friends dying. Jack screaming. He lost everything. He quit the war, left the cities. Chose a quiet life in the forest, alone. Now it was her turn to gasp. She pulled her hand away, staring at him. You were a weapon too, she said. Jack nodded. But I walked away, he said. Just like you. They sat in silence again. But now it wasn't painful. It was peaceful. A strange connection had formed, wordless, but deep. Not just two survivors. Two broken souls, beginning to heal. The rain outside stopped. The moonlight touched the cave floor. She leaned her head against the cave wall, eyes heavy. I still don't know what I am now, she whispered. Jack looked at her gently. You're not what they made you. You're what you choose next. She closed her eyes. And for the first time since her crash, she slept, not like a soldier, but like someone safe. The warning didn't come as sound. It came as silence. The birds stopped singing. The wind stopped blowing. The forest held its breath again. Jack stood at the riverbank, washing his hands. The alien girl, now wrapped in a dark green cloak, knelt nearby, letting the cool water run over her fingers. She looked up. Her ears twitched. Jack saw her face change. He froze. What is it? He asked. She didn't speak. She just stood up, turned toward the trees, and whispered one word. Run. Jack didn't ask why. He grabbed her hand and they ran. Behind them, the sky broke open. A ship. Black, sharp, silent. Much larger than before. Not a hunter ship. A collector. Had floated like a ghost above the trees. Then it began scanning the area. Red beams sweeping across the forest like a spider searching for prey. The ship didn't need to land. It had drones. Tiny, silver, deadly. They dropped like rain. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Each one had eyes, wings, and small weapons built to stun or kill. One spotted them. The chase began. Jack and the alien girl sprinted through the forest. Branches snapped. Mud splashed. Max barked, keeping close. Jack fired his rifle, hitting one drone midair. It exploded with a hiss. The alien girl jumped high, twisting in the air, slicing through two drones with a broken tree branch sharpened to a blade. Still more came. They had nowhere to hide. Then they saw it, a metal trapdoor covered in vines. An old war bunker. Jack had passed it many times before, never opened it. Now it might be their only chance. He pulled it open. They jumped in. Darkness swallowed them. Hold. The door slammed shut just as the red light passed overhead. Inside, the air was thick with dust. Jack coughed. The girl helped him stand. We can't stay long, she said. No, Jack agreed. But we need a plan. They moved through the bunker with a small light. It was old, abandoned, but safe for now. In one room, Jack found a radio. He tried to power it on. Nothing. The alien girl pressed her palm to the wall. Her skin glowed slightly. The light passed through the wires. The radio crackled to life. Jack stared at her. How'd you do that? She shrugged. We learn fast. The radio picked up a signal. Not words. A message. Subject located. Human. Contact confirmed. Prepare for full extraction. Jack clenched his jaw. They know I helped you. Now they want us both. The alien girl looked down. You should have left me. He stepped closer. I won't. I already did that once. To someone else. She raised her eyes, curious. Who? Jack didn't answer. The pain in his face told enough. They sat in silence for a while. Then Jack stood. We can't run anymore. The alien girl stood too. Then we fight. Together, Jack said. She held out her hand. This time, he didn't hesitate. They shook hands like warriors, like equals. Suddenly, Max growled, loud, sharp. Footsteps echoed through the metal hallway. Heavy. Not drones. Soldiers. A full team. They had been tracked. Jack aimed his rifle. The alien girl picked up a long metal rod from the floor. Footsteps got louder. Closer. Jack whispered, no turning back now. The alien girl nodded. Good, I'm done running. The door at the end of the hall burst open. Light poured in. Voices shouted, "Down on the ground!" Jack fired first. She moved like lightning. The bunker lit up with fire and fury. And in that moment, the war returned. Jack woke up to silence. Not peaceful silence. Empty silence. No fire crackling. No wind outside. No footsteps. No Max. And worst of all, no alien girl. His head throbbed. His arm was bandaged. Blood stained his shirt. His back hurt from the fight. In the bunker, but he was alive. Barely. The metal walls around him were black with burns. The door had been sealed shut with a melted lock, but that wasn't what made his stomach twist. It was the note beside him, scrawled on a torn map, written in rough, broken English. "Don't follow me. They want me, not you. Stay alive. You helped me. Now I help you. Goodbye." Jack's hands shook as he read it again and again. "No, no, no, no," he muttered. He stood, ignoring the pain. He grabbed his bag, his gun, his coat. She was gone. She had left him. She thought she was saving him, but she didn't understand. He wasn't afraid of dying. He was afraid of losing her. Outside, the forest was gray with morning fog. The ship was still there, high in the sky, now scanning wider. Faster, it had picked up her trail. She was moving toward them. Alone. She had given herself up. Jack followed the trail. Her footprints were fast and light, but he knew her rhythm now. The way she moved, the way she stepped, every mark in the dirt was her saying goodbye. But he didn't listen. He ran. By nightfall, he reached the valley. And there, in the middle of it, was the black ship. Floating. Silent. Deadly. A circle of guards stood near it, weapons raised, red eyes glowing. And in the center of them, Dasher. Kneeling. Hands behind her back. A shock collar around her neck. Jack's breath caught. She wasn't fighting. She had given up. Because of him. He crouched behind a hill, thinking fast. There were too many to fight, but not too many to outsmart. He waited until the clouds covered the moon. Then he moved, silent like a shadow. He snuck behind the ship, planted the small bomb he'd made from bunker scraps, and set the timer. 2 minutes. Next, he crawled toward the guards, staying low, heart pounding. One mistake, and he was dead. The timer ticked. 1 colon 30. One guard turned away. Jack struck fast, grabbed him, pulled him down, silenced him. 1 colon 00. He reached the girl's side. She looked up, shocked. "Jack," she whispered. "I told you not to leave me," he said. She shook her head. "You should have stayed safe." "I'm only safe with you," he said. 0 colon 45. He pulled a knife from his boot and broke the collar's lock. It sparked and fell. She stood, weak, but her fire was back. Jack gave her a small metal rod. "Let's finish this." 0:15. They stood together. To back. One last time. The guards turned. Too late. The timer hit 0. Boom. The explosion threw fire into the sky. The ship rocked and cracked. Guards fell, screamed. Jack and the alien girl ran through the chaos, cutting down what stood in there. Wait. A second explosion hit the engine. The ship groaned, then tilted. Lights blinked out. Smoke rose into the night like a ghost. They didn't stop running, not until the forest swallowed them again. Hours later, they collapsed near the edge of a lake, breathing hard. Jack lay back, laughing. Between gasps, "That was insane," he said. She smiled faintly. "You're insane." He looked at her. "You came to save me." "I came to save you, so what does that make us?" She didn't answer. She just reached over and touched his hand, not as a weapon, not as a beast, but as something new. Something real. The moon rose above them, quiet and silver. They didn't need to speak. They were alive. Together. For now. Snow was falling, not the sharp kind that bites the skin, but soft flakes, quiet, peaceful, like the world was finally taking a breath. Jack sat on the edge of the cliff, wrapped in a fur-lined coat. Below him was a valley of green trees, rivers, and a small wooden home they built with their own hands. Behind him, she was humming dot, yes dash humming dot, the same alien girl who once had claws at his throat. Glowing eyes full of rage, now stood barefoot in the snow, humming to herself while feeding Max a bowl of warm soup. Her armor was gone. Her body had healed. Her claws only came out when she needed to cut wood or dig roots. She moved with grace, not to kill but to live. Jack looked back at her, smiling. "I never thought I'd hear you make music," he said. She tilted her head. "It's not music, just dot dot sound I like." "Still music," he said. She walked over, sat beside him, and handed him a cup of tea. Her hands no longer shook. Her eyes were still golden, but now calm like a fire turned low. He sipped the tea. Warm and sweet dot, they watched the stars come out together. "I had a dream," she said. "Yeah?" "I dreamed I was a kitten," she said, serious. "Small, soft, no claws." Jack laughed. "You? A kitten?" She nodded. "You laughed in the dream too. Well, you've changed. You used to hiss and growl at everything. I still hiss." "Yeah, but only when I take the last cookie." She looked at him, pretending to be angry. Then she smiled really. Smiled dot. It had taken months to reach this place. A hidden planet, untouched by war. They had landed there after stealing a pod from the burning ship. No one followed. No one searched. The universe had moved on, but they hadn't. They were still healing, still learning, every day. The alien girl discovered something new. How to laugh, how to swim, how to sit quietly without looking over her shoulder. Jack taught her how to plant seeds, how to paint with dirt and berries, how to whistle. She taught him how to feel again. She had once been a weapon, a thing built for war. Now she built bird nests with her hands. Sometimes, at night, she would crawl onto the rug by the fire, wrap herself in a blanket, and fall asleep curled up like a cat. Jack once whispered, "You really are a kitten now." She didn't open her eyes. She just mumbled, "Only with you." Tonight, as they sat under the stars, a small ship flew across the sky, far above, far away. Not coming here, just passing. Neither of them moved. Jack reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a thin chain. At the end of it was the memory stone. The same one she had used to show him her pain. He handed it to her. "Keep it," he said, "but maybe fill it with something new." "Like what?" "Laughter, peace, you humming." She held it in her palm. "I never thought I'd want to. Remember soft things. And now?" She looked at him. Her voice soft. "Now I want to remember everything." Jack leaned back, arms behind his head, watching the stars. She lay down beside him, resting her head on his shoulder, purring softly, yes. Purring, not like a beast, not like a killer, like a gentle kitten who had finally found her warm place in the cold galaxy. And Jack? He didn't need anyone else. He didn't need Earth. He didn't even need answers. He just needed her. The one he saved, not the one who stayed.